All right, we're taking a look at Athena SQL data types, and I believe these are probably based off of whatever Presto or Tinrow allows you to do. The reason you want to know generally what data types you have is so that you know how you can work with the data. Don't worry about memorizing this stuff, but just get a general idea of what it is. Let's go through this boring list. So the first is Boolean, so you have true or false. Then we have tiny int, small int, and integer. Notice that the number from 8-bit, 16-bit, 32-bit gets larger. It is signed. A signed integer or a signed number means that it goes in the negative and the positive. So the range is split between 0 and the negative and positive value. Obviously, if you don't need a larger data type, don't use a larger data type because then it'll be more efficient. Integer is really interesting because you have int and integer, and they're the same thing, but they can only be used in particular places. So for whatever reason, when you create a table, you call it int, and when you're querying, it is integer. You have your big int, so that's obviously bigger. And so now we are out of the individualistic numbers. So integers are numbers that are like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They do not have decimal points. We have now our numbers that have floating points, like a period, like a decimal, okay? So we have our float, which is 32-bit, our double, which is 64-bit, double because it's double the size. And then you have decimal. Decimal is interesting because it takes it's a function and it takes a precision and scale. So here you can kind of have more precise control over the floating point, okay? Then you have, now we're out of numbers, we're into letters or characters. We have char. This is generally for a single letter, but it can also represent a number of fixed letters. It's because it's called char, if you say that it's 3, then you have to provide 3. You can't provide it 2 or 1, it has to be 3. If you need a variable length of data, then you use varchar. And if you don't set these values, like if you don't set a value for char, it's going to be 1. If you don't set a value for varchar, it's going to be the maximum number. Varchar can go up to, what is it, 65,500 between 1. So often you will set the size of varchar. When you're using more modern, not modern, but things like Postgres, you don't often have to set the varchar value like you would in MySQL or other languages because they can optimize it efficiently enough. But anyway, there's your varchar. Then we have string. So this is a string literal enclosed in a single or double quotes. And this is from the Hive data type. You have IP address that represents an IP address. Makes sense. Can only be used in the DML, so data manipulation language. So I guess inserts, updates, things like that. We have binary. So this is when you're using Parquet because Parquet is a binary file. I believe so. We have data. This will be in your ISO format. For people that are in the States, they'll be like, what's this format? Everywhere else, everybody uses this format. It's year, month, and date. There's more to the date stuff, but I just don't have room for it. We have timestamps, so date and time instance of Java SQL timestamp. The reason you want to know that is that if you know it's Java timestamp, then you know the exact format, how you can manipulate that. So that's why I'm telling you that it's from Java. We have our array. So you can have most data types in there, probably primitive ones. When I say primitive, like simple ones, I don't know if you could do like array binary, but the point is you say, I want this to be an array of integers, and you could do that. You have map, which is a map of values. So you have, this one's a little bit interesting, where you have basically an array over here, an array over there. Okay, and so this one maps to this one, and then this one maps to this one. I'm not sure why my pen is drawing all weird right now, but anyway. And then the last one is our struct, and this more resembles something like a JSON object. So there are data types, and there you go.